Welcome to The Authentic Spiritual Journey, a weekly podcast featuring real and practical spiritual conversations from fresh perspectives here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. Today, episode 266, Faith in the Unseen. And now your host, Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson.
Hello and welcome to the Authentic Spiritual Journey. My name is Cynthia Alice Anderson. I'm the host. I'm here today in 818 Studios with my producer.
Good morning, everybody. This is Dave Croft. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 266 of the Authentic Spiritual Journey. As always, want to welcome you to a brand new week. I hope you're doing well, and just thank you, for spending part of your day with us today.
Yes, friends, happy to have you along and, with us on the show. And sorry, I was making a note as I was talking because we got kind of excited right before coming on the air talking about the various places people were listening from. I want to admit to you, because this is the Authentic Spiritual Journey, I was feeling a little discouraged this week. It happens maybe once a year that I feel discouraged. And you guys, as our listeners, always find a way to say, hey, we're listening and we love you and we bless you and thank you. And it lifted my spirits to know the various places that we're listening. And even though our top listeners are in Orlando, because of course I'm Orlando based, I was surprised, Dave, that right behind that were a lot of other cities that I had no idea. I was really surprised.
Yeah, Orlando and, the Orlando area, Winter Park and Lakeland and all that.
Right,
but,
right.
Pulling up stats, it's what I do. As a producer, I kind of wrangle these statistics, and just seeing all the countries and the cities that folks are listening from. New York is our top. Our second highest listener base is based in New York. So hello, New York. Thank you so much.
Hello, friends. Yes,
and
yes.
Number 3 is Fortville, Indiana.
Fortville, Indiana. Whoever you are. I think I should try to make a trip there sometime.
Yeah.
So friends in Fortville, Indiana, reach out. Let us know who you are. I'd love to receive an email and know how you found us and how we're supporting your journey. I mean, this is what helps me get up in the morning. We all need a purpose. My purpose is helping people live better lives. And I love doing that through a variety of ways, right?
Yeah.
Through my spiritual teaching, through my corporate work, through working with kids. So it just, I don't know, it made my day to know somebody in Fortville, Indiana was listening, and more than one, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah, they're the third high. 11% of our downloads are coming
11%? Wow.
Coming from Fortville, Indiana. So, and then, we have Rolette, Texas. Hello, Rolette.
I think it's Rowlett.
Rowlett?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Hey, friends.
Rolette.
Oh, I love you guys. Thank you for listening.
Scottsdale, Arizona. Hey, Scottsdale. Thank you so much for listening.
Scottsdale, yeah. Peace, baby.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, yes. Shout out to my buddies there.
Linwood, Washington.
Wow. I love knowing about Linwood. So there's a powerful minister there, powerful friends there. Love that area. So definite shout out to Linwood.
And I'm going to kind of go down here.
Sure,
and,
I won't comment after everyone. I just got excited.
We would
Dave.
be here for a really long time. It's hundreds and hundreds of cities here represented. Long Beach, California, Yokohama, Kanagawa, Flushing, New York, Durham, North Carolina, St. John's, Newfoundland.
Wow.
Buren, Washington. Spring Hill, Florida, St. Petersburg, St. Cloud. Let's see. Let's find some more. Delhi.
Oh, wow.
National Capital Territory of Delhi. Olathe, Kansas. Yeah, I'm sure you have several friends in that area.
Yes.
But it's just so amazing.
And isn't there's some in Zurich as well?
Yeah,
you told
Zurich,
me, right?
Switzerland, Ho Chi Minh City. Somebody's listening from Ho Chi Minh.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, wow.
It's humbling.
It is humbling. It makes me want to cry. I won't, because I have a show to do. But it's so sweet, friends. It's so meaningful to know that you're getting something out of this. What as a speaker and a presenter, I'm so accustomed to getting feedback when I say something right in the moment that sometimes for the podcast, it's like I've been doing this. Dave and I realize as this airs, it will be 5 years.
5 years.
We will have passed the 5-year mark. And And it's so meaningful to know. And sometimes I can forget because I'm not getting instant feedback, that you are listening and that you are supporting us and that we are supporting your journey. So this helps. And it actually leads us right into today's show, frankly. So Dave, if you don't mind, give us the title and the show number one more time.
Yeah, it's show number 266, Faith in the Unseen. Yeah, this goes right along.
Yeah.
Faith in the unseen. We have faith that even though I can pull up statistics and we can see these numbers, it's easy to lose perspective of how what you do here reverberates globally.
Yes. And this has always been my goal. This has been my mission and purpose. And, as I'm kind of breathing in these results and this, it took me way back to when we started talking about even doing a podcast, and about once a year we do a little reflection, because I think it's important to relate what we're doing here to the spiritual teachings that I give every single week, because I know they work. And I hear so much now. I often work with a lot of ministers and ministries, supporting them. And everybody tells me what the trends are in church. Okay. And I want to talk about that a little bit. Might sound like I'm going off track, but I'm not at all. Stay with me. As we say in the message, stay with me, friends. Now listen, is that when we give all kinds of energy and credence to quote unquote trends, we forget that there is a higher energy, a higher power, that energy we call God, that's greater than a trend, that guides, that directs, that supports. And even though there may be trends, it doesn't mean that whatever trend is happening, that is the only guidance or the only truth in my life. So a trend is a fact. It is not ultimate reality, right? Are you hearing that, friends? A trend, it is a fact, yes. So we're not going to be in denial and bury our head in the sand, but it is not the ultimate reality, meaning that if there is a trend, let's say, that people, like, here's something that gets said, people aren't attending church. Okay, that's a trend, supposedly. Well, at the church I'm at in Tampa, the trend is up, not down. So what does that mean? Well, it means that something's happening that is a different trend. Now, just because we don't hear about it, or just because, it hasn't made the news, doesn't make it so. And I think the reason the trend is up is we believe that's possible for us. We have faith in the unseen. So even though there is a trend, even though there is a fact, there's a higher reality that is going on. There's a higher reality that's going on. And as a leader, I have to be more creative, more inventive, more dialed into spirit to guide and direct. So knowing that there tends to be low attendance, so then I have to think, well, what would I want to come to church for? And make the community that type of place, a place of love, a place of acceptance. I recently did a memorial for a young man from the community. He was 28 when he died, and it was a shock to the family. Nobody had any idea. It wasn't, suicide or anything like that. It was, accidental death. And, not only was the church service full, the memorial was full after, full of people who had never been to church before, and full of people who, when were given space to speak, spoke. And I invited all those people back and said, hey, you know what? I know many churches are not places of peace and hope and acceptance, but we are. But we are. So all that said, I'm not saying I do church perfectly. What I'm saying is that there is a higher reality, and I have faith in that higher reality to guide, inform, and direct. That same energy that guided me to start the podcast is the same energy that's guiding me and leading the church. I also have wonderful supportive leaders, wonderful supportive members who support financially. Like we had a kind of a down financial month, and now it's like, oh, we need to give. We value this. Yeah, exactly. So, someone will tell you giving is also trending down. Well, I said, if giving is down with the quality of services we're doing, maybe I wasn't doing a good job informing. So let me improve on that. So, friends, so on the spiritual journey, so Dave, give me the title one more time because I need to get back to this.
Faith in the unseen. Faith in the unseen.
Yeah. So I have to take a deep breath before this thought. Give me that title one more time, Dave.
Faith in the unseen.
Faith in the unseen. When you're on the spiritual journey, it is easy to think, if I just sit here, God will bring everything I want. We talk about faith, and we think it means doing nothing. Faith is belief, but faith is also an action. Faith is also an action. So a lot of times when people are not moving forward on their journey and they say, well, I have faith, but nothing's happening. And oftentimes the faith and the action are not lining up, right? And so, for instance, when we started this show, this is what I started talking about at the very beginning. When we started this show, I knew I didn't know anything about podcasts. Frankly, I'd never even listened to one. I think we were sitting at a board meeting and somebody mentioned it. I had heard of them. I had been in prayer about it. And I was like, you know what? I am going to do a podcast. And CCU was wonderfully supportive, for me to start it because they knew, wow, this is great. It'll be a great way to reach people. And that said, there was support, but guess who had to show up and think of the shows and pay the bills and do all of that sort of thing. So I did have support around it, but what I had to first do is do prayer work. Is this mine to do? Is this mine to do? And once I got clear it was mine to do, well then, even though there was faith behind it, there were actions. There was, Dave, you were one of the first people I talked to. What I did is I went about the process of interviewing people, and I personally, with my own money, would take people out to lunch, and I would ask them questions. And I would say, do you listen to podcasts? What podcasts do you listen to? How long are they? What are you looking for? What are you doing when you listen? I was just trying to get information. Is this even something that I'm capable of doing? And I interviewed my son, which was a lot of fun. I interviewed a friend of mine who's a medical doctor and had a big commute. She's an ER doctor. I interviewed all kinds of people, men, women. I also learned the age cutoff for people that were willing to even think about a podcast. I learned, so there was a lot of work behind that faith and that knowing. And the work was believing, if I'm guided to do this, well, there must be a way to do it. But let me see what those things are to make sure this is mine to do. So there was belief, most definitely, but there were also, specifically guided actions to know and to look for signs, is this mine to do? And am I heading the right direction? So definitely there's faith as we move forward, but there's always, in my experience, some action to take that's related to the faith and what we are guided to do, So we did not know when we first started that there would be anybody in Fortville, Indiana listening, or what was one of the other ones, Prineville, Oregon, which I'd never heard of.
Ho Chi Minh City.
Ho Chi Minh City, exactly. So we didn't know. What we knew is that there was a guidance, there was support from an organization that I was associated with. There was excitement about the idea. It was a way for me to reach the world with my message, which was something I'd always wanted to do. Well, now that is happening, right? That is happening. But so So at the beginning, though, it's almost like before the faith, there is the guidance, and then the faith and the guidance. So it is most definitely a process, and all of life is this basically this process. We're guided, we start to move, and then if we question, we got to go back into the faith. So, in my work with individuals, people will often say, I just need more faith, And it was many years ago I learned that in the unity teachings, this is one of the most powerful things I ever learned, which is we already have all the faith we need. We already have all the faith we need. We just have to act on it. Right? So it's not like they were giving out faith and Dave got some and I didn't, or I got some and Dave didn't. But faith has to be activated. And I really do think it's through action. So faith is like the higher brand of trust. It's like, I might have a friend, I trust that friend, but faith in the unseen is way expanded from that, because it is believing that the universe has good in mind for you. It is believing that as you move forward, you'll be supported. It is believing that as you're guided, you're going to know what's next. And what gets hard, it was like what I was saying at the beginning about the podcast. What gets hard is when we don't get immediate feedback to that, to that work and that faith. It's like, well, I think I'm supposed to do this. So what's next? How do I move forward? And in your work, you're probably going to say, now, how am I going to activate this? How am I going to really believe in the unseen? Well, one real key way to stay focused is to surround yourself with people that can believe in you as well. Surround yourself with like-minded people that really get who you are and what you're about. It might even be like when there's a show like this one, listen to it several times. You're going to say, I'm going to start looking up Fortville, Indiana. You're going to go, where is that town? You're going to listen to the show 2 or 3 times and go, I'm going to start holding Prineville, Oregon in prayer. But to simply support your mind, support your soul in knowing that there is something bigger than your own little idea about something. That the universe is always working on your behalf. And we just did a show recently called, I think it was called Universal Support, Dave. You and I were emailing about it earlier today. And if you didn't hear that show, go back and get that one, because that's going to really help for you to know that the universe really does support you. The universe really does support you. And at those times where you're dipping down and you're not sure, ask for a sign. Because, the scripture says faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. So oftentimes, when you're having to have faith, it's because you're not seeing anything. But what I've noticed is that if I need a sign here or there, the universe is happy to oblige. It's crazy. The universe is happy to oblige. So yeah, the time where we exercise our faith is when we can't see what's next. That's when we exercise our faith. It's when we can't see what's next. It's easy to have faith when things are going well and you have money in the bank and you have a job. It's easy to have faith. It's hard to have faith when something is trying to manifest and you don't know what that is, or you're working on something really deeply and you're not sure how it's going to heal. And sometimes just saying to yourself, you know what? I have faith in the unseen. So I know God loves me. I know God is working on my behalf. I know that the universe is supporting me through this. It's like reminding yourself of the higher truth is going to really help you through that. It's going to really help you through that. And as you hold on to that faith, as you kind of move through, you're going to have little touch-ins from the universe where the universe is going to say, keep going. You've got this. And they're going to come in situations. It's going to come in an idea. Maybe it'll come through someone saying something to you where you're really guided, where you're really supported, and you go, oh yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. I don't know if I shared with this group or not that I had a divine idea a while back, and we had Coach Richie on, and I think on Coach Richie's show, he may have mentioned, Dave, about we talked about me working with the kids, but I'm not sure if he said something about me working with the magic. Did he say that on the show? Do you remember?
I don't recall offhand.
Well, he said it to me personally, and he said it to the kids when I was showing up. I've worked with them a couple times now and going to be working with them in the future. And it was really interesting because, I said to him, I would love to work with the Orlando Magic, because I said I was just at a game and I love the Magic, but they really weren't working as a team. They all had different mindsets. They weren't supporting each other. They weren't encouraging each other. And I said, wow, what I'm doing with the kids, if I could do that with the Magic, they'd win, because they have the talent. They're just not working as a group. And he goes, oh, I'm going to see that. He said, I totally agree. I want to see that with you. And so when he introduced me to the kids, he said, oh, and by the way, she's going to be working with the Magic. And I was like, well, that is really faith in the unseen. Well, what happened, though, interestingly, after that, I kind of laughed and I said, oh, I love that. I said, I'll accept that affirmation. And this is what I mean. You see what I mean about surrounding yourself with people that see that with you and for you as well. Is out of the blue, we received an email from what's called the G Leagues, which it's like the minor leagues of basketball. And believe it or not, there's a minor league Magic, which I didn't even know about. My cousin, who's a basketball freak, she's a fanatic. She played college ball and very talented in basketball. But anyway, she told me that, she knew all about the G Leagues. I called her, and they called me, and I'm going to be working with the staff of they're not the Orlando Magic. Where are they? They're the Osceola Magic.
Okay. And
they're moving offices to Kissimmee, Florida. And I've already met with them twice. And I'm just going to get information to them in the next couple of weeks about my presentations. So that said, this was a divine idea. I had support from a friend in the field. We held that in prayer together. I supported his organization. And amazingly, I'm one step under now the Orlando Magic. And it is right. I mean, you're hearing what I'm saying. So it's like there was an idea, there was an intention, and my moving forward was simply to support kids. And the kids are the Junior Magic. But so there's that name in there. It's the Magic. It's the Junior Magic, right? All different age kids, worked with the coaches. And then when what Coach Richie and I are talking about me doing is me really working with him and the coaches so that they can be empowered to work with the kids. And as they help the kids, they're going to be helping themselves. Because a lot of people don't know these types of ways of thinking about things, like the 3 keys for a success mindset, thought, belief, and action. And the other thing, I was working with the kids. Where's your attention? Here. I say, what time is it? They say, now. And I say, where are you? And they go, here. I said, right, get in the moment. Get in the moment. Don't get your head all everywhere. Get in the moment. Well, so they don't know, they're great technical coaches, great people, great encouragers, but just helping them with their thought process helped their game instantly. Connected me with the coaches instantly. So why am I saying all this? I'm saying the unseen goes out before us to create this next step that we make. I did not, with my small, limited mind, do that. But my soul working with the unseen, my soul that's connected to eternity, my soul that loves to support and love people, is helping. God and I are co-creating these next experiences. And for me, this is more than work. This is more than money. This is making a difference in the world through my work, through who I am. But it's not even work to me. It's fun, right? So, But the faith is that as I take steps, the next step will be provided. That's really what faith is. It's going, you know what? I'm going to be fully present, fully here, fully now, and I'm going to show up for these kids. Why? Because I can. Because I have the time, I have the knowledge, I have the awareness. I mean, I used to teach PE. I love working with kids on their physical bodies. It's a lot of fun. It's good for me. So applying this faith to whatever situation you find yourself, like you might be a teacher working with students at school. You might be a lawyer working on a tough case, or maybe there's a mediation or litigation you've got to do. Well, you want to be able to trust in the midst of that you're going to know what you're to do, when, and how to do it. As you access that faith, you will. Also remembering there may be something you have to do before that. There may be a way you have to lay some groundwork. You may have to do some learning. You may have to do some research. You may have to do, work to be ready. But then faith that you're going to be sustained, you're going to be provided for, that the next step is going to present itself with ease and grace for you. But there is work for you on the front end. We don't just sit and wait. We believe as we step forward that the universe is supporting us, And for me, this is faith in the unseen. This is believing that as we are moving forward on our journey, that the support will be there. Somebody asked me recently about the podcast, and they were asking me about, how does it sustain? And I said, well, it sustains through love offerings. And they were like, what? Like you don't charge for downloads and all this? I said, it's a podcast. We sustain through our love offerings. And they say, well, how do you know people are going to give? I said, I don't. I just believe it's so. And I said, and if for some reason people didn't give, we'd no longer be on the air. But I have a pretty good track record of 5 years on the air and being sustained and supported. So I believe that we are provided for. I believe that we are providing something of value to people's spiritual journey. And as we do that, people give. People give. People have given generously. We've been able to pay all our studio fees, and now we're coming up on, the live show we're going to do, and we'll give you details to that soon. But just think about that, friends. So as you're guided, and you know what, I should have said at the very beginning that as I'm talking about these topics, I make several assumptions. One assumption is that you are seeking to be a conscious being in the world. You're seeking to be more aware. You're seeking to live a better life. You're seeking to bring peace and harmony into your relationships, into your work life. And you're seeking to know God's abundance in whatever way whatever that means for you. Right? So I make that assumption. I make that assumption that you want to live from your soul. That said, as you do your prayer work, as you do this journaling, as you meditate, as you set those intentions, as you pray, as you journal, that you are going to be guided. As you're guided, you are going to have a choice in how you move forward. As you move forward, my hope for you is that you can believe that you were supported, that you can activate that inner faith through this belief. Yes, God loves me. Yes, God is working on my behalf. Yes, if I'm being guided, I am moving this direction, and knowing that if something shifts or changes, you'll be guided to the next step. So believing that you are loved, believing that you are supported, this is faith in the unseen. And it does require action. It sometimes requires research on your part. It sometimes requires moving forward when you don't see support, and then knowing that support will present itself. So don't be afraid to move forward. Know that you're guided. Know that you're supported. Know that you're blessed. And friends, as I'm saying this, this is from many years of working with thousands of people. It's many years of seeing these principles prove true over and over and over again. This podcast is a wonderful example. 5 years on the air, still going strong, still having people from all over the world download, still getting stories of personal transformation. We've been guided. We've been supported. We've been blessed. This is what we want for you. This unwavering faith that you are loved and supported by the universe, this unwavering faith that as you believe, you will be supported. So having this faith in the unseen, as the scriptures say in Hebrews, right? Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen, and know you're supported. So we are sending love your way, dear friend. We are honored to support your journey. All of you from all over the world, from Albany, from New York, from Indiana, from Orlando, from Oregon, from Zurich, from Ho Chi Minh City, wherever you may be, we love you, we bless you, and we're honored to support your spiritual journey. So we look forward to seeing you next week, and blessings on the journey, dear friends.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Authentic Spiritual Journey here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. This channel is made possible because of listeners just like you. If you would like to support the channel with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. The Authentic Spiritual Journey is copyright 2023, Cynthia Alice Anderson, all rights reserved. Our theme music is composed by Dave Croft and used with permission from RR Hot Publishing. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is a production of 818 Studios.